training to failure? Are you doing it the wrong way or the right way? Guys, this is Kenny Tunison. Welcome back to the channel. Today's video, I'm going to discuss and talk about the correct way to train to failure and also the wrong way. There is a lot of content out there that is geared more towards natural lifters, saying that if they don't train to absolute failure and even beyond in some cases, that they're leaving gains on the table, right? There are more gains to be had and they need to train harder than last time, every single time, which I agree with somewhat, but I'm going to dive in pretty deeply as to why I don't agree with complete all-out failure sets where you go beyond failure. So to start things off, there are basically two types of failure. One's called technical failure. Now, technical failure is, let's say you're doing a set of barbell curls. Technical failure is when you keep great form throughout the movement, and on that last rep of the set, you just can't bring the weight up anymore. And that's keeping great form the entire time. You're not using any other parts of your body to compensate and try to get the weight up. Now, the other form of failure is going to be called absolute failure. Absolute failure is just what it sounds like, right? It's just going all out, balls to the wall, till you can't go no more. And it is including using the rest of your body to accomplish that. So let's say you're doing those barbell curls again, and you get to the final few reps in this case, and you start jerking the weight up. You know, you kind of start putting your back into it, your lower back, your hips a little bit. You're really thrusting the weight up to try to get it up. That is absolute failure. When you reach a rep doing it in that type of way and you can't complete the rep, that's absolute failure. And like I said before, there's a lot of content out there that is geared towards natural bodybuilders that tells them to train exactly that way. And I couldn't disagree more. I think that is a terrible idea for natural lifters, and I'm going to get into why I believe that. So I guess the first reason, and it's a pretty obvious one, is going to be your chance of injury. So when you train this type of way to absolute failure, your risk of injury, your chances of getting hurt, seriously hurt, go up a lot. And I'll just bring you guys back to when I did kind of like a Dorian Yates style training. I experimented with it for about 3 months. I had a few injuries during that span. Pretty minor ones. I was lucky they weren't major. And that was with doing warm-up sets. And it's because that style of training either requires a training partner or it also requires you to be heavily enhanced. As a natural lifter, your body is not capable of training that way. It's not really capable of going above and beyond failure and then recovering from it in less than a week. It's just not capable of that. And there are also guys out there doing this style of training and hitting each muscle group twice per week who are also at the same time natural. It's just insane. They're giving their muscles and their central nervous system, their tendons, their ligaments, they're giving all of that no time to recover, and there's no wonder why they stay the same size and they actually kind of push their physiques back a little bit. I've seen this a lot. Guys don't realize how much recovery they actually need when they're natural. They think just a couple days after training complete all-out balls to the wall is going to be fine, and it's just not. When you train that type of way, which I don't think you should train that type of way, but if you are going to train that type of way, you're going to need a lot of rest. Okay, so reason number 2 is going to be, I guess you can call it fatigue management of the central nervous system. So when you train to absolute failure, above and beyond, your central nervous system as a natural lifter is going to be compromised. All right, let's not fool ourselves here. You're going to have a hard time recovering because your tendons, your ligaments are just going to be compromised. Like I said before, yes, muscles take 48 to 72 hours to recover, but your tendons, your ligaments, they actually take longer to recover. And that's something that a lot of people don't know. They don't realize that. Your tendons, your ligaments, they need at least 5 to 6 days to fully recover. And if you're doing absolute failure, it's going to be even more than that. 5 to 6 days to recover is more so for people who are going to technical failure. And that is advanced natural lifters who are going to technical failure. And if you're going, like I said before, to absolute failure, it's going to be even longer than that. And you might be asking yourselves, well, yeah, aren't the results of absolute failure much better than technical failure? No, they're not. And I really don't think it's worth it, even if they were just a little bit better, because you're increasing that risk of injury by so much. All right, so the next reason is going to branch off of the one I just talked about, the central nervous system, and that is going to be progressive overload. So when you are completely compromising, destroying your central nervous system, it's going to be damn near impossible to add weight to the bar or to increase your reps on a certain movement with a certain weight. It's going to be damn near impossible to achieve that. And that's, again, because your central nervous system is completely taxed, it's completely fatigued, it's not recovered properly. And this is for guys who are even getting enough sleep and who even have the correct approach when it comes to their diet. And if you don't have any of those, you're lost. So that is exactly why I think you should focus much more on technical failure and not absolute failure if you're serious about building muscle. You can still train with very high intensity. A lot of guys don't realize that. They think they have to go completely all out, destroy their bodies to achieve that, but they don't. Really, they just need to add maybe a few more sets and achieve technical failure instead of absolute failure. Stimulus is the key factor to growing, especially as a natural lifter. If you're not stimulating your muscles, you're not going to grow. A lot of guys think they need to annihilate. All right, and this brings back that old saying from Lee Haney, I think it was, who said it, stimulate, not annihilate. And I couldn't agree more with Mr. Lee Haney. I really think he was onto something. You got to stimulate the muscle. And how do we do that? Well, that comes from volume. Okay, so I'm going to do another video soon after this one about the correct sets and rep ranges to do. Might even touch on frequency. I know I touched on it a few weeks ago, but I've had a change of heart recently. So to cap things off in this video, what failure should you use? And it's definitely going to be technical failure. Train to technical failure for 1, maybe 2 sets of each movement that you do, not all of them, okay? Because most of us were doing 3, 4, maybe 5 sets. Don't go to technical failure every set. I would say 1, maybe 2 sets most, and that's for advanced natural lifters. If you're intermediate or beginner, I would really only do 1 set, maybe 2 sets per workout, not per movement, per workout, 1 to 2 sets per workout to technical failure. That's intermediates. Beginners, I know I kind of bunched beginners in with intermediates and what I just said, but beginners, honestly, I wouldn't go to technical failure at all. All right, I would allow myself to train for maybe a year, half a year to a year before I start going to technical failure a few times in each of my workouts. But guys, that's the video. I hope this cleared a lot of things up. I know there's a lot of content out there, especially in the form of short form content, telling you guys that you just need to annihilate your muscles and that's the only way to grow. That's not the only way to grow, right? High volume, okay, technical failure, stimulate, not annihilate, and also having your recovery, your sleep, your diet, having all that in order, it matters all the same. So guys, thanks for watching this video. As always, God bless. I will catch you in the next one.